There are so many different career areas one could go into, but becoming a psychic medium would be one that is, I guess, a little strange because you don't hear of a lot of people going into that business. I guess you can't go into that business unless you possess the quote-unquote gift. I do believe it is a $2 billion a year business. But again, you have to have the ability to tap into another world and be able to talk to dead people, if you will. My guest this week is a very famous psychic medium, published author, and a star of his reality TV show, Meet the Frasers, which is on E! How the hell did he get into this line of work? And what did he do before he was a psychic medium? We're going to find out. Matt Fraser, psychic medium, my guest this week on Celebrity Jobber.
The Celebrity Jobber Podcast with Jeff Zito. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, give a 5-star rating, and leave a review. Check out all our past episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you pod. What if these celebrities weren't famous? What would they have become? What was their first job? We're about to find out.
Happy New Year, Matt.
Same to you as well.
What, anything, all right, so I don't want to be that guy to just go ahead and ask the question, but I mean, this is what you do. So I'm going to ask, I know you don't know me. Is there something we have to do right now to like kind of tap in and tell me what this year's going to be like for me? How we do this?
Well, actually, it's very different. I actually am not a prediction psychic.
Okay.
I'm actually a medium. So every single psychic medium has a different gift. Some mediums can predict, worldly events. Some mediums are medical mediums. They can tell you what goes on in your body or like the things that you have to worry about. My gift is seeing and hearing dead people.
Okay. Now that can be a little strange for people. That could be upsetting to people. I had that experience one time with someone I was skeptical of, to be quite honest with you. And there was no way anybody could have told her or to where she would have known this particular situation that happened. And it was fresh. And she basically told me that my friend who had just passed away was in the room and he was doing okay. And she said a word that me and him only knew, and it floored me. It absolutely floored me. So when did you develop this gift?
So it's interesting. I grew up like that little boy from The Sixth Sense. I could see and hear dead people from, just the ages of 3 and 4. And I got to tell you, it was petrifying to me. I still remember to this day being in my bedroom at night, yelling and screaming and crying for my mom to come in and to help me because I had no idea what was going on. I grew up thinking that the house was haunted or where I was going was haunted. I never realized that I was a psychic or that I was a medium or that I had some type of an ability. I literally just thought that, everyone could see and sense ghosts, and I thought that's what was happening. I thought it was just the house being haunted.
Did your parents think you were nuts? My
dad did. Absolutely. But you got to know that my grandmother also had this ability, and so did my mom.
Oh, okay.
This ability. They didn't do it professionally. It wasn't something that, my mom was a psychic and giving readings. Absolutely not. It was just something that they sensed and felt as well. So my mom tried to get me to embrace it, but I was so afraid being so young that I just wanted to run away from it.
I don't blame you. I mean, for to be a child and seeing dead people and all that's got to be strange. So your mother had the gift. You said your grandmother had it too. What did your mother and father do for work when you were growing up?
So my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my dad was actually 21 years in the Navy. He was captain of a frigate.
Oh, wow.
So my dad wasn't there for most of my childhood growing up because he was out to sea. So I spent a lot of time with my mom, and then as a little kid with my grandmother.
Okay.
So it was really interesting because my dad really had no idea of what was going on with me. He had no idea of what was happening and what was taking place. And it wasn't until he came back and really started to retire from the service, that he realized, oh my God, my son is seeing and hearing ghosts.
So, Matt, what age were you when you decided to take this into a career? I mean, did you go to college? Did you major in something?
So that's a really good question. So even though for most of my life I had avoided this and pushed this away, I always felt people on a different level. I could feel people's pain. I could feel people's emotions. I just knew what people were going through within their lives. I could feel it on a different level. So I always felt like I needed to be in the medical field. I felt like that was what my calling was. So
Interesting.
I started my journey as an EMT. I started as an emergency medical technician. I worked for the World Trade Center in Boston for the Security Operations Department. And, I felt like that was what I was supposed to do. It wasn't until it was around that time, actually, that I went to see a medium for the first time myself that it changed my life, because I spent so many years pushing this away that it wasn't until I saw a medium that I realized, oh, my God, I can do this too. I can use this gift and this ability to help people to heal just in a different way.
Okay, so how old were you when you saw this medium?
I want to say, I was 20 years old, 19 years old, 20 years old.
Wow.
Right around that time.
So relatively young, and you came to the conclusion with this person that you needed to go into this direction to help people?
Well, it's actually funny. This medium that I went to told me, she said to me, I went there looking to hear about my career and about, certain things that were going on, because I was an EMT, hoping to become a paramedic. That was where I was at my life at that time. And I left hearing that I was a medium, and it wasn't something that I wanted to hear. I'm asking her about, am I going to be able to pass my paramedic test? And she's telling me that, she sees me on a television show and being a medium and, connecting people with their loved ones. And I'm like, no, that's the opposite of what I do. I'm not that person. And she says, you are. You just have to get it back. You push your abilities away, and this is a great calling from God, and you have to use it. And it was that conversation that really sparked everything. It sparked me to look back into my gifts and into my abilities, and I started to when I sensed something and I felt something, I would share it with people. And then next thing you know, word travels quickly like wildfire of the one who could speak to the dead.
So where did it go from here? You meet this lady, she tells you what to do. Now I know you've written a book or books, and I also know about the TV show on E! Meet the Frasers. Give me the progression of all the events to like where you are today. Was there like a big break that happened for you to get this TV show? Because I would imagine this is now introducing you to America.
Well, it's interesting. It started as, me first talking about my gift, and sharing it with people. And then next thing you know, word travels quickly of, the one who could speak to the dead. People are like, Matt, my friend wants to speak to you. Oh, my sister's cousin wants to speak to you. This one wants to speak to you. That one wants to speak to you. And then next thing you know, my private appointment book became from, 3 months to 6 months to over a year long. People were waiting for readings. And then next thing you know, it has to be on television shows and radio shows. The next thing you know, meeting my publicist and writing a book. And then next thing you know, all of a sudden, E! Entertainment reached out and was like, hey, we want you to do this television show, this reality show. And I did the reality show. The next thing you know, celebrities started reaching out, and since then, my book became a New York Times bestseller. So, I'd like to say that there was this big break, but really, it just has happened gradually, and it's just amazing how people have found out about me. It really has, and I believe that it's been a gift from heaven.
Tell me about, how long did it all take, Matt, from the time you meet the psychic to right now? How long are we talking?
Well, I've been doing this now publicly 12 years, believe it or not.
Okay.
So, to be honest with you, I've been in it for quite some time. But the thing is that the television show was something that just happened in the last 5 years. So, the thing is that it was, like I said, for me, it wasn't like a big break. It was very gradual, where I was already doing television. I was already guest appearing on shows. It was just a decision from NBC to give me my own show. and to share a different side of my life with audiences across the country.
And tell us a little bit about the show. Is it just centered on your day-to-day life with you and your family?
That's exactly what it is. So Meet the Frasers is the behind the scenes of my life, the person that I am and my family, because the thing is that people were seeing me going from talk show to talk show and reading certain celebrities and reading certain people, but they wouldn't get to know me and who I was. So the show really brings them behind the scenes where they get to meet my family and see that, listen, aside from talking to the dead, I'm just a regular person. I just have a special gift.
Do you think that the TV show brings, and I'm not saying that what you do is not legit, but I'm saying, because it happened to me. I was skeptical in the beginning. It happened to me. I met this woman. She told me this stuff. I cried. I mean, I couldn't believe it. But, the world is a skeptical world. And if it hasn't happened to you yet, then you might be like, this guy's full of it. Do you think the TV show and, being around your family, day-to-day stuff, problems, relatable stuff, just like every average Joe goes through, kind of legitimizes the art, the profession of being a medium?
To be honest with you, no. I think that when people are skeptical, they're going to be skeptical until they experience it themselves. Right? That's why I tell people, come to a show, because it's something that you're not going to be able to believe or wrap your head around until it happens to you. And that's one of the things that, most people don't understand. Some people, unless you have, there's only two ways that, you're really going to believe in mediums. One is if you had to experience yourself, meaning that you sensed or felt the spirit, or maybe it was that you had some type of premonition or something that happened, a psychic moment in your life, and you were like, oh my God, this is real. Or two, you saw a psychic or a medium, and you had a profound experience. So those are the people that I'm looking to reach. I'm actually looking to reach during my shows, the skeptics, the non-believers, the people that aren't sure that there's a heaven in the afterlife, because those are the people that need to experience this the most. Just like, for example, when you had that experience, it was life-changing for you. It opened your eyes to something that you would have never believed was possible. And I want to give that same gift to the people that I meet and read for.
Can you tell me about some of the celebrities that you've met with?
Oh, my God, there's been so many. Jenny McCarthy, Donnie Wahlberg, Gloria Estefan, Savannah Chrisley, who else? Lily Estefan. I also got to read Gloria's daughter, Emily, who was a really big skeptic. So, it's Dorinda Medley from Real Housewives, Dr. Paul Nassif from Botched. I mean, you name it, I get to speak to them.
And do they want to just know about a loved one in their life that had recently passed away? Is that basically, do they just want to hear from those people and hear that they're okay?
Yeah, I mean, listen, grief hits everybody. Everybody. Doesn't matter if you're a celebrity. Doesn't matter if, you're a psychic medium. Even there's psychics and mediums that come to me that are like, Matt, I'm so freaked out. I connect with the spirit world. I, do what you do, but my mom passed away, and I'm really having a tough time. I didn't think I was going to go through this. I didn't think I was going to be so sad. I didn't think that I was going to have a hard time connecting with her. The thing is that it doesn't matter how much faith you have. It doesn't matter how much you believe. Everybody is affected by grief. Everybody is affected by, the loss of a loved one. And that's why people come to mediums like myself.
Can you take me through, Matt, if we met in real life and, and I asked you, about a particular person in my life, could you kind of take me through how you tap in to this, other dimension? And I mean, obviously, you're not going to be able to tell me exactly how it happens, but can you just kind of go through what you're thinking about and how you're able to tap into this person's world?
Yeah, so the biggest misconception is that, I'm tuning into this person. What actually happens is that you might come to see a medium. Because you're looking to hear from someone on the other side. But really what's happening is that there's a soul that's with you that wants to communicate with you. So what I have to tell people is that I can't just call up your loved ones on the other side. I just can't call up your mom or your dad or your sister or your brother. They have to come through to me. So, for example, at a live show or at a live event, your loved ones come to me, whether it be your dad, your sister, your brother, whether it be a stepbrother that you are estranged from. And souls come through for a particular reason. You know, your grandmother's not going to come through and just say, oh, hey, honey, everything's fine in heaven.
Right.
Here with your grandfather, hope all is well. There's a message that's there. Maybe you didn't get to say goodbye. Maybe that person passed unexpectedly. Maybe there was a fight that happened within the family. Maybe there's still something that was unresolved. Well, that's why souls come through, because they want to finish the conversation. If you're feeling that there's something unresolved with the passing, if you're feeling that there was an unsaid conversation, something that you didn't get to say or something that was left on the table, so do your loved ones in spirit. They feel that same way, and that's when they come to me. So it happens even when I'm not at a show. I don't care if it's at a restaurant, if I'm walking down the street. If there's a loved one that has passed nearby that has a specific message that they need to share, they'll use me to do so. You
know, it's so funny that you said that because there is this one person in my life, was in my life, who passed away. And during the last year of his life, he didn't tell me how sick he was, and we kind of had a falling out. And I didn't get a chance to tell this guy I loved him. I didn't get a chance because we were like kind of feuding. And so I do think about that, and I think about it often. I see you're actually coming to Tampa, to the Hard Rock here in Tampa. So I'm kind of wanting to come and see you. By the way, that date is Wednesday, January 10th. But Matt is touring, a ferocious schedule. He's in Florida right now, starting this weekend, and then just touring nonstop. Later in the month, he's in Boston, New Jersey, Cincinnati, California, Vegas, New York. Is there a website that people can go to, Matt, and check out all of your tour dates?
Absolutely. You don't have to be dead to find me. The best way to get in touch with me is right on my website, meetmattfraser.com.
Okay. Incredible touring schedule, Matt. What, with all of your success, the book, the TV show, going out on the road now for, as much as you're going out, are you just trying to meet as many people as you can and just spread the word? Absolutely. I mean, the thing is that, for years people have been waiting to meet me and connect with me and talk with me. And then, we had a bit of a lull with the pandemic. Where events stopped all across the country and around the world. So, now I'm working overtime to get to those places that I missed, to get to those cities, to get to those states, to get to those people. And I'm really excited because I know that people have waited a long time. What do you do, Matt, when you're not reading, talking to dead people, when you're not out there working and touring? Because you look like a relatively young guy. So what do you do when you're not working? So I'm 32 years old. I have a wife and a son. He's 16 months. And to be honest with you, my best retreat is staying at home with them. But to be honest with you, when you're around so many dead people, and around, audiences day in and day out, my retreat is my home. I love being home with them. I love just the simple things in life, and that's what keeps me going. And where do you live? Where's home base for you? So I actually live in Rhode Island, which most people don't even know where Rhode Island is, believe it or not. It's funny because when I'm on tour, people are like, Matt, where do you live? Where are you? I'm like, Rhode Island. They're like, where's that? I'm like, it's a state. It's in New York. Is it still run by the mob? It depends on who you ask. I'll tell you no, but there's some people who like to believe it. That's what I hear. They say Rhode Island is still run by the mob. But I don't want... They say that, but I haven't seen any proof yet. Yeah, look, I don't want to get that word out there too much. I don't want to put your life in danger for sure. Matt, it was really great talking to you. I mean, look, this guy started off looking to be, in the world of healthcare. He wanted to help people, even though he knew he had this gift where he could talk to dead people, see dead people at a very young age. His dad thought he was crazy. His dad was a military guy, but his mother and his grandmother also had this gift. And then by the time he was 20 years old, he saw a medium himself, and she convinced him to make a career out of it. And boy, oh boy, has Matt really made a serious career out of this. He's America's top psychic medium, and new TV show on E! Entertainment, which is called Meet the Frasers. Man, it was really great talking to you. I really, again, will tell you I was skeptical at one point in my life. Then I had the experience, and it was life-changing. So you might see me out at the Hard Rock Wednesday, and I might have to ask you about this good friend of mine that, I really... I'm not going to say I can't sleep at night over it, because it's been a little while, but man, do I think about it often, and I sure wish it could have ended differently. So don't be surprised if I try to hunt you down.
Well, perfect. I will see you then. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt. Take care. Happy New Year.
Same to you.
I guess all I can say is if you're curious about the psychic medium, I would suggest going to one of these live shows and trying it out for yourself, because I was skeptical, like I said, and then there's just no way this woman could have known some of the things that, me and this guy talked about. We were good friends, worked together for a lot of years, and then he suddenly passed away, and she just knew too much stuff that nobody knew. Forget like I'm saying, like only me and him knew some of this stuff. It totally freaked me out, and that was when I, kind of became a believer. So if you're like on the fence and curious, go to one of these shows. Go see one of Matt's shows. This guy is touring everywhere. MeetMattFraser.com for all of the information. Thanks so much for listening. If you like this podcast, please subscribe. Would love a 5-star rating and leave a review. Check out past episodes on CelebrityJobber.com. Check out our new YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/the@CelebrityJobber. You can follow us on Instagram and stream us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. This has been another episode of the Celebrity Jobber Podcast. As always, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. I'm Jeff Zito.